Well, it's been 1 year since my brother, Vittorio Arrigoni, Vic, was murdered. I feel exactly as I felt on the day that he was murdered before I actually found out that he had been killed. Nobody had any more motivation to murder Vic than Israel. And those that did this, even if they legitimately believed that they were serving some sort of false, bogus Islamic agenda, were nothing more than tools and dupes, criminals who work for some intelligence agency, whether it's the CIA or Mossad, possibly MI6. They're nothing more than dupes. And in fact, let's be clear, those that work for the CIA, Mossad, and whatnot, the assets, those that do a lot of the dirty work on the ground, are nothing more than criminals. In fact, the more criminal and corrupt you are, violent you are, the more of an asset you are to these hideous institutions, so-called intelligence services, in particular Mossad, but the CIA also as well. But that's not why I'm doing this video now. I'm doing this because of my deepest love and respect for my brother. I've been going back over some of the pictures I've taken of Vic and going back over some of the memories, and I can honestly say I really don't miss anybody any more than I miss my brother Vic. He was an absolutely beautiful man. I met him in the Free Gaza mission of 2008. I met him in Greece, and we went through a lot. I could write a book about just the Free Gaza mission itself. Like every other Western direct action I've been on, it's full of insanity. I've often referred to it as a circus. And, you know, whether it's Human Shields or Free Gaza or a number of other actions I've been on, they're always just completely crazy, and there's a lot of bullshit, to put it frankly. But Vic was one in a million. From the first moment to the very, very last, we connected deeply. Even though we haven't spent a massive amount of time together, the time we did spend together, it was like being with your friend from school days. You know, I might as well have known him from 4 years old, 5 years old, whatever. So let me tell you what it was like to be around Vic. Everybody had the same experience as well. It was just a joy to be around him, and he was the kind of guy who, when he walked into a room, would almost always be the center of attention. And you know, I loved it. I thought it was great. Contrary to what some might say, I never need to be the center of attention at all. I loved being around the guy. I was always just having great fun being in his company and watching him smile and chant and, you know, do what he did, wave that Palestinian flag. He just always brought the tempo, the vibe up everywhere he was, all the time. His connection with kids was so beautiful. The kids loved him. Walking around the streets of Gaza with him, everybody knew Vic. Everybody knew Vic. And, you know, he was the person. He was the Westerner who epitomized human Western consciousness. I mean, really nobody emphasized, personified Western consciousness better than Vic. He was there during all of Cass-Led, riding in the ambulances, putting his life on the line time and time and time again, telling the story of the Palestinians, exposing the crimes of Israel, and all the while doing this with no expectation of reward. Vic just had a massive heart, and it was in his nature. That was it, and it just came through, and you couldn't help but love the guy, being around him. We understood each other, and this is kind of it. This is the thing about characters like Vic. We both have the same kind of innate kind of confidence, and we're both very kind of independent in the way we go about things. Vic was more aligned with other institutions than I was. He's obviously a very strong member of the International Solidarity Movement, and so much of his greatest work was with ISM, and he was of course responsible in many ways for reviving ISM in Gaza. But Vic was first and foremost just a human being, a sane, beautiful, conscientious human being. I worked with him on the Free Gaza mission, and I actually served as a captain on that mission, so I was in charge of Vic for much of the time. But it was never any kind of challenge with him at all. In fact, when we would pull into various ports, and we're talking Mediterranean ports, on our way to Cyprus and eventually to Gaza, when everybody else would be, jumping off the boat to get a drink in their system, or go have some food, just get off the boat, Vic was the one who would come to me and say, "What can I do?" This is not something you find. There's so many really quite selfish and really just childish people, and when you have an adult who's really impassioned and has no ego, yet is such a strong person, and he's there as an asset. I mean, I'd give anything to work with Vic again, or people like him. They're so few and far between. A lovely, lovely man. The time that I spent with Vic in Gaza, my last trip back in 2011, was just more of the same. He was just always working to try and expose the crimes, to effect justice, to empower people. And again, what can be said about this man? I was with him just 2 days before he was murdered. In fact, I was actually somewhat trapped. I was trapped in Gaza, actually. I was supposed to be there for 3 months, 4 months, and ended up being there 6 months. And I was planning on leaving. I was going to make my fourth attempt to get out. And ultimately, Vic was contemplating leaving, or was planning on leaving at the same time, because his father was ill. And so we actually had spoken just a couple days before he was murdered, and there was a real good chance that we were going to leave Gaza the following Sunday, like 5 days later, 6 days later. But it obviously didn't happen. And I ended up staying a bit longer. I just couldn't leave in the direct aftermath of his murder. I haven't really said much about Vic in this time either, and I didn't in the direct aftermath either, largely because there are plenty of people who love Vic, and it was well enough that people were expressing their love, making videos and sharing their words and their moments and all of this, so I didn't feel there was a need, quite frankly. But I also did not want to capitalize on his death to simply get another video with views. But on the anniversary of his murder, I have to say, if there is any one way to really honor Vic, then it is to redouble our efforts for justice in Palestine. I plan on going back hopefully this summer. I know full well that it could have very well have been me, and for all I know, and for every reason I would have thought, whoever killed Vic could have very well been tracing me. But as fate would have it, they got Vic. And I don't care if I die tomorrow or if I die 20 years from now. It doesn't really matter. While I'm around, I will do the very best that I can, just like Vic. It's not really a matter of how long we live, it's what we do with our lives that matters. And Vic is an example of that, one of the highest examples of that. I mean, he was a young man, far too young to die, but at the same time, look at how much he achieved in the time that he was here. He did that because he followed his heart, and he didn't let fear, and he didn't let other people's cynicism or pessimism get in the way. It really doesn't matter whether or not the odds are in our favor with regard to Palestine or the creation of a better world. It just doesn't matter. What matters is that we do our absolute best to achieve our humanity, to be human, and as Vic said, to stay human. This is probably where I would have disagreed with Vic just a bit if he was still around. I don't think it's about staying human, because we lost our humanity collectively some time ago. Or at least those of us who come from Western nations and other dark, dark places and institutions, we have allowed darkness and inhumanity to rule for a long time. So I think it's more a matter of regaining our humanity. But the point is made, and Vic made that point all too well by being human. Vic was a human being, a sane, conscientious, loving, and respectful human being. He was my brother. I will miss him. At the same time, he is with me. I feel him. I feel him with me, and I ultimately feel strength from having known him. And so I say in one last message to you, if you want to respect Vic, then look to him as a model of what you could do. Go to Gaza, go to Palestine, arm yourself with the truth, act on it. Don't let fear stand in your way. Let your heart be your guide. That is what Vic was all about, in my opinion. And forever, I will love him, and I send him a message through this video. My brother, thank you so much for all the time, for all the beautiful inspiration that you gave me, and I'm with you, you're with me. We will always be together.
بتأسف الوطن من أجل دمك أخي، ارقد بسلام ذكرك فينا ما بننساها أخي. قد ما يوصفك لساني بكل كلام أخي، ما بيوصف معنى كلمة تكون إنسان أخي. لحل الرسم الوشم بصدري، واكتب المقاومة على كل جدار بعقلي يا أخي. أنت لم تمت أخي، عشت بنصي يا أخي، لن تختفي يا أخي، لا يتخلد اسمك في غزتي يا أخي.
أناديكم أشد على أياديكم وأبوس الأرض تحت نعالكم وأقول أنفيكم. أناديكم أشد على أياديكم وأبوس الأرض تحت نعالكم وأقول أنفيكم.
يا صاحب العرق الغربي فلسطين تبنتك، وصلت سفن حرية مغطى براية بعودتك، مكون من جسد تتذوق طلقات أعداء السلام، مكان من دين المجرم اللي تعدى حرمتك. احنا بنوعدك وصيتك تكون رسالة حرة، الثورة تنتهي بنصر وترجع بلادنا الحرة. أخي جاوز الظالم من المدى، ولن ينتهي الظلمة إلا بوحدة الشعب، إلا برجوع الأرض. أرض تناديكم
أناديكم أشد على أياديكم وأبوس الأرض تحت نعالكم وأقول أنفيكم. أناديكم أشد على أياديكم وأبوس الأرض تحت نعالكم وأقول أنفيكم.
يناديك سمعوا الخدر المعادي، يشد على الأيادي، الأيادي مساعد مع هم الموت، قلبه نابض بالصوت ورافض السكوت وصاحب علم الصوت. أناديكم أشدوا أياديكم، لستم ضعاف الضعاف هم معاديكم، بس الأرض كتب مقامة بغفلة تمل، غدر بلحظة خرجت دموع بلحظة، الشموع تتغطى، الوداع هو الأبقى.
أناديكم أشد على أياديكم وأبوس الأرض تحت نعالكم وأقول أنفيكم. أناديكم أشد على أياديكم وأبوس الأرض تحت نعالكم وأقول أنفيكم.
احكي فيتوريو رمز السلام والحب، رمز إيماني بالحق، رمز إرادة الشعب. احكي فيتوريو زرعت فينا القوة، نزع منها الخوف، سلب منها الشر. سي فيتوريو أخي سلام عليك من كل أخ لديك، اكتسبته بغزة. احكي فيتوريو احنا إلنا أخي الشرف، نذكرك بكل بيت، فلسطيني للأبد. انت فلسطيني فيك، انت فلسطيني وأنا.
أناديكم أشد على أياديكم وأبوس الأرض تحت نعالكم وأقول أنفيكم. أناديكم 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 أناديكم